Hi. All right. Are you ready for this? I'm going to do a little bit of reading. It's a beautiful day out. And so I'm going to just adjust this a little bit. Um, Look at my bangs. They're just like not ready for prime time. They need a little trim. I'll be looking at you through the shag of my fringe. Or, it's actually funny because like when I look at the thumbnails, because they're like randomly selected, they're like they're kind of ludicrous, but I'm here for them. So all right, I'm gonna do some reading, and then I'm off to, I don't know, be outside in the nice day. But so right now we're at feeling and emotion. So it's in the second hub. So we've just gotten into the second hub, and this is let's see how I feel about this. I'm really like revisiting this is I'm getting a lot out of it. I th- and I hope if you're following along you are too. This is starting at page 87. For me, this was a particularly demanding chapter to write. This in the next chapter, because the exploration for me is particularly difficult on a person for me personally. So like re-entering this is like really nice because it's like the continued expansion of the capacity in the second hub is really nice. So not much more to say on that, actually. I don't have a lot of juice today. I'm actually so what I've been doing is I'm giving myself some time to restore my humanity. Coming off of writing the book, coming off of doing a lot of work on top of writing the book, and just reconciling the fact that my own nervous system needs to actually be reinvigorated. So I've actually been really second hubbing this and using feeling as my divining rod. So I've really been following things that it's like in my connection with myself, or things that are going to feel like energizing and restorative and pleasurable. So, I love working. I always have. I find it really satisfying. It's just kind of part of my makeup. So it's a really like enjoyable challenge, but also a challenge for me. I don't know about you, if you experience that, um, if it's relatable, but I think, but the thing is, everybody has their kind of construction of their hubs. So, anyhow, let's do this. I'm going to jump in. All right. Hi. I just I don't know if I started with a greeting or not. I just jumped in. All right. Okay. Feeling and emotion. And this is under the basics. So right now we're reading through the portion of the chapter that is about kind of like an orientation of like, what is this hub about? And as I've been talking to people in all different facets of my life, specifically, I will say in the professional facets, talking about Parinama method as being a roadmap of the development of the nervous system is, what we're how the Parinama method is structured is we're looking at each facet individually, and even though that they certainly build on each other and relate to each other, and obviously the simpatico of attunement shows up in all sorts of other ways of kind of exchange and relation and all the other hubs. Here we go is the beginning of that exchange and simpatico, that's experience of conversations and the give and take of love. Is that the first thing is like our existence in that give and take. So this is the foundation that is, starting with like building trust within ourselves about our own feelings and emotions. And that's a lot of what's happening in this stage of development is like, what is that competency that we have? So anyway, here we go. Let's go. All right, basics, feeling and emotion. So according to, well, somebody's having fun out there. That sounds nice. Feelings and emotion. Um, all right. According to Charles Darwin, in the 1872 study, The Expression of Emotions in Man and Animals, emotions initiate movement, and these movements restore us to safety and physical equilibrium. He noticed this effective communication in bodily and facial signaling in both animals and humans. In many psychological disciplines, emotion is viewed as a response to a physical or mental feeling, and feeling is a response to internal external sensation and stimulation. Simply put, a feeling sensation comes in and the emotion moves out, expressed through thought and behavior. Emotion is the expressed response to feeling, and it's how we're in relationship with ourselves, others, and the world. As babies and children, we learn, usually from parents, emotional expression through our primary relationships, and what we learn is carried into our teenage and adult lives. All right. We'll start from the top. During the initial development of the second hub, a baby's emotions are natural, wild, inconvenient, self serving, spontaneous, and unaware of time. As an adult watching a baby, chasing it around as it explores and its emotions arise can be exhausting. When expression of emotion causes harm, they need to be contained. But otherwise, a baby should be free to explore and experiment. For a baby, the maturation of emotional control is still on the developmental roadmap and becomes a progressively appropriate expectation in the subsequent hubs. As children, physical expression in body language and facial expressions of things we tried to hide could result in punishment or disapproval from the people we needed most. Learning to control emotional responses becomes both practical and responsible for maturation, but taken too far, it becomes a holding pattern. And if introduced too early, it cuts us off from our relationship with ourselves. When children are allowed to be free, spontaneous, and self serving, conflicts with others can arise. Mature emotional expression involves short term compartmentalization, control, and evaluation of how we affect others. As adults, sometimes we must put our immediate emotional responses on ice for responsible, respectful, and mature behavior, but this can go too far. As adults, excessive and chronic suppression and rejection of feelings and emotions extinguishes aliveness and creates blind spots in our self awareness. Getting stuck in our bodies, uh, um, getting stuck in our bodies when not effectively processed. Yet some emotional containment is necessary. By harnessing their primal strength with awareness and effective management, we can feel fully alive and can find healthy outlets for their expression. When fresh emotions go into the emotion control refrigerator, they can be pushed into the back and forgotten. And when we forget about them, they tend to spoil. Later, when we pull them out, they're in a different form from what they went in as and can be messy, but by clearing and moving them out, we make room for what we want to hold within ourselves. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nuance in this, because the thing is like when we're talking about the expression of emotions as adults and as like people who are responsible for the emotional well-being of other people, there is like the necessity of the ability to control our immediate responses to things. But eventually, there needs to be some way to actually discharge that and express it, or it'll just come out in kind of unexpected and inconvenient ways. So there is that nuance, but I think the thing is, and this is something that there was some writing in Harvard Business Review a while back about this, which is that this thing that happens is that, for people who are like high, this assessment has been like they're high performing people, that it isn't that they're really good at delaying gratification. They're good at actually like cutting off sensation and not feeling the desire or the need. So the ability to kind of soldier on winds up becoming kind of hardwired. And it's really helpful for being successful, but winds up being really deleterious for living a life and feeling fully alive. And this is the flip side to this. So yeah, I mean, this is like, I think that yeah, yeah. I mean, this is obviously kind of like central to the building into the core of Parinama. Like the next section is sensation and touch, which I don't know if I like have time or even juice for right now. So I think I might make it a wrap for today. Didn't get very far. Sure, I get it. We're at 88 now. But I don't know. It's important to me to show up and give what I can. This is what I got for today. And I really appreciate you for watching and following along. It's really meaningful for me that like folks are really interested and engaged in this work. One of the things I'm finding is that this is very recognizable as far as how this works to people who are senior executives and people who already have a lot of power understand the the back end of this and are very interested in it. And my passion for this is to make this really accessible and available in terms of like everyday folks being able to have access to like this level of mastery, because ultimately what we're talking about is when we're owning and operating our own nervous system, and bringing consciousness to reflexes. So first of all, we're either aware of them enough that we can be self-aware and speak to them and be accountable for them and just and take responsibility in kind of before and after like our reactions, but also knowing enough about what these facets are that we can actually start to work on becoming more dynamic and expansive in our capability to experience life through them. So it's I'll say that as I continue to work on this, and now in the last month, like about 5 weeks since I've been solely working on Parinama, coming from Parinama instead of working, like say, with a company and not necessarily like using it, but it being coming in more from like my professional like my professional history being the thing that's of like primary interest. It's just been growing. It's been really building and growing in ways that are this kind of combination of me feeling like I could feel this coming, but also just like surprising and delightful. And as for like, and this might be a little too much for this, but one of the things that I think I'm going to, when I have a little bit more juice to put in this direction, is to talk about is really where we're going with this, which is it's like this thing about, we're really tuning and understanding and knowing our nervous system, kind of like clearing the pipe, so that we can really like do the best, most fulfilling actualized experience of our life. And that can be expressed through creativity, through work, through love, through enjoyment, but that path can be cleared so that life can be like at its utmost it like fulfilled. And I think that that's has like really spiritual implications, because I really can, I think the thing about like the fullness of life is something about like fully actualizing something that's an extraordinary phenomenon. And if it's not divine, just that it's like, hey, why not just have a better life? How about that? There's that. So anyhow, so yeah. That's all I really have today. I wish there was a little bit more in the tank, but I want to go outside and enjoy some of the sunshine and go have a nice lunch and do some kind of writing and some work and response stuff. And like I'm having some fun with that. So, anyway, sending thank you and liking and commenting, Mira. You're the champion. I love you so much. It really means a lot. It really means a lot. It's very encouraging. One of the things that's been happening is that, I mean, it's like people like one of the things I'm realizing is that some of the most most sort of like surprising engagement with anything that I'm doing in public right now in YouTube or social media, um, that there's just a lot of surprising people that are watching and engaging and relating and getting into it. And so there's that too. So do you, but also engagement really helps expand the reach of this and also encourages me. So with that, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate you and I can't wait until next time. All right. Bye for now.